Welcome to Sport, everyone. The Fremantle Dockers will be out to stop the rot when they meet Richmond tonight at Patterson Stadium. Channel 10 expert Peter Bell joins us from the ground. And Pete, after losing 2 on the trot, Ross Lyon wouldn't want to make it 3.
No, looking back at Ross Lyon's career, I'm pretty sure he hasn't lost 3 on the trot too many times. So both teams coming off a loss. It's a great atmosphere down here at Patterson Stadium, of course, for the Len Hall tribute game. So looking forward to a really tight contest, Katie.
And worrying signs last week without Matthew Pavlich. How do they structure up tonight to find a target up forward?
Well, I think Kepler-Bradley will spend a bit of time forward, as he has done for most of the season, and become more of a focal point. There was a bit of talk about Luke McFarlane spending some time up there, but I think he's an absolute linchpin of the Fremantle defence and has been for a long time. And with such a dangerous forward like Jack Riewoldt, along with Vickery and also McGuan, who's been a bit of a revelation, I think Luke McFarlane will be required in his customary position.
It is a game of contrast tonight, with the Dockers so defensive and the Tigers such an attacking side, particularly in the midfield. Is that the key for them tonight?
Absolutely. The midfield is where games are won and lost, and Richmond's is a star-studded midfield, so the Fremantle guys will be trying to apply as much pressure as possible, force turnovers and get it into their forward line, where their elusive small forwards like Ballantyne and Walters, as well as Kepler-Bradley and Chris Mayne, can hopefully kick a winning score.
And Pete, just a quick word before you go on West Coast and Port tomorrow night, a crucial one for the Eagles' top 4 chances.
Absolutely crucial. Obviously, Port Adelaide are off to a flyer. They're playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. They'll be really tough to beat over there with a pro Port Adelaide crowd in attendance. All
right, maybe can we get a quick tip for you for both games?
Well, I'll go Fremantle in a really close one. We're used to nail-biters, 5 points, and I'm afraid I've got to go for Port Adelaide in a close one over there, say 10 points.
Oh, all right. Fans getting into it there. Thanks very much, Billy. Enjoy the game.
Will do.
Well, West Coast have defended their decision to axe backman Will Schofield in favour of Mitch Brown for their crucial clash with Port Adelaide. An automatic selection for the past 2 seasons. The last time Schofield was dropped was back in round 6, 2011. Steve Allen reports.
Cut 2 weeks in a row. Last week for charity, this week Will Schofield has been forced out of the side.
And Brown's form has been outstanding. Probably for 2.5 years, he's just gone back to the waffle and played incredibly good football. His attitude, and this week he's earned his spot. We think he's a good matchup for us this week.
Schofield has travelled as an emergency. Darren Glass testing out his shoulder again today. The captain to have the final say on his own fitness.
He got through fine and he's pulled up really well. So, no, he doesn't have to do anything. If he says he's right, we'll back him in.
Beau Waters didn't complete training, but the club says he will make his return from a calf strain. The defensive revolving door, not a problem for the Eagles' backline coach.
Having a set back 6 would be great, but I'm still trying to work out what our best back 6 is.
No such problem at the other end of the ground. West Coast forwards a focus for Port.
You know, there's Kennedy, there's Akra, there's Darling, there's Hams. They're a high-quality side, we know that, and it'll take our best team effort to beat them.
The power coach says his undefeated side are full of confidence, but they're keeping their feet planted firmly on the ground.
You know, we're a club that doesn't deserve to be thinking anything other than respect the competition, respect the game. Every team we come up against, we should give them 100% effort and make sure we perform at our absolute best, and we won't be a club that gets ahead of ourselves.
Steve Allen, 10 News.
Collingwood defender Alan Toovey will undergo a knee reconstruction as early as next week, after scans this morning confirmed the club's worst fears. Toovey has a ruptured ACL and will miss 12 months. Henry Peters spoke with him today.
Things have gone from bad to worse for the Magpies. Alan Toovey's season over with a ruptured ACL. Heading in before scans this morning, the defender was resigned to his fate.
Are you hopeful of the prognosis, or is it looking pretty grim?
Certain it's ACL, so they'll just check it out now. They'll know more.
Disaster struck for the 25-year-old with just minutes remaining in yesterday's 46-point loss, capping a horror 24 hours for Toovey.
Yeah, you never want to be losing any games, mate.
Toovey visibly shattered as he emerged following scans. The club confirming this afternoon he'll have reconstructive surgery on his knee as early as next week. Several Pies stars were on deck this morning for recovery. The Anzac Day defeat doing little to quell Ben Hudson's appreciation for the fans. But Quinton Lynch was in no mood to chat.
Pretty disappointing yesterday.
Lynch headed in for a checkup this morning, as did Jordan Russell.
Luke Ball returns tonight via the VFL after more than 12 months out with a knee injury. Ball chose not to have Lars surgery on his knee. Tuvey appears likely to follow suit.
It's a case of chalk and cheese for the Bombers and the Pies. Essendon singing all the way to the top of the ladder at 5-0. Its best start to a season since its premiership year in 2000. Henry Peters, 10 News.
Sydney Swans midfielder Ryan O'Keefe has returned home from New Zealand, believing the AFL could one day have a team there. The Swans claimed the first premiership points outside Australia with the 79-63 win over St Kilda in Wellington, where almost 23,000 watched the game.
It worked really well. They're really passionate about their sport, and it's not like we're trying to compete with the All Blacks. Obviously, it'd be just an alternative for the youth over there.
The Saints announcing today they've signed a 16-year-old New Zealander to a scholarship scheme. Carlton regains Eddie Betts for tomorrow's clash with Adelaide at the MCG, and key big man Jared Waite could soon follow. Waite has overcome calf troubles and will make his return through the VFL on Sunday. The 30-year-old hasn't played senior football since round 22 last year.
It's not a matter of how many goals he kicks or how many footballs he touches. It's a matter of getting through, understanding his body, which he does, us understanding that he can get through a game of football.
Malthouse was in a jovial mood this morning. Here's his answer to the question on whether Carlton can play Betts, Jeff Garlett and Chris Yarran in the same forward line.
Yes, we can. Will we pay the $27.50 and go over there? Is that how much it costs to get in? I hope it is.
Mark Seavey made his name as a premiership player for the Eagles. Now he has grand ambitions in the WAFL with Claremont. After a whirlwind career, the 28-year-old is settling down with his focus not just on the football field. Tim Hipsley explains.
Mark Seavey has gone full circle in the football world, a journey that's been flushed with success. He now finds himself in the waffle ranks, and with that comes hard labour. Known for his ruck taps on the field, he's now fixing taps off the field as an apprentice plumber.
No, we're definitely still now sort of footy season underway, and my work's underway as well. It's I feel very settled, so no, it's great to be back with amongst family and friends and having a lot of support around. So I'm enjoying being back in WA.
He's experienced the highs.
Mark Seavey.
And the lows. Traded to Sydney in 2009, he played just 18 games in 3 years after breaking his ankle.
Yeah, I just never sort of found the right form again to continue on. So unfortunately, it ended a bit premature than what we were hoping when we first went over to Sydney, but that's the footy game that we're in.
Some may find it strange he's now plying his trade with Claremont, given his loyalties to West Perth. He won a flag with the Falcons 10 years ago, and he's now hoping to do the same with the Tigers.
Mark Webb's got us playing is really good footy, and we've got a really strong team that's well balanced. I think that's what's contributing to us having the success we're having at the moment.
And if last week's performance is anything to go by, success won't be far away. Seavey dominating against his old side. Tomorrow, it's a trip down to Mandurah to face Peel Thunder. Tim Hipsley, 10 News.
Australia's Ashes hopes appear to have already suffered a setback, with fast bowler Ryan Harris injuring his Achilles while playing in the Indian Premier League. Harris has returned to Australia to undergo treatment. His IPL side, the Kings 11 Punjab, believe the injury will sideline Harris for up to 2 months. But Cricket Australia is confident Harris has done no significant damage. Rising swim star Thomas Fraser-Holmes has been disqualified in a day of drama at the national titles in Adelaide. He flopped into the water as he desperately tried to avoid a false start in the men's 400-metre freestyle. It's the same event in which Ian Thorpe suffered a similar fall at the 2004 Olympic trials. Alicia Coots had a better day among the fastest qualifiers in her pet event.
The first event is always the hardest, I find, because you don't really know how you're going to feel, and I think it's good once you get that first one out of the way.
And Swimming Australia has appointed Michael Boll as women's coach, while Rowan Taylor oversees the men. Defending NBA champions, the Miami Heat are on the verge of a series clean sweep over Milwaukee. The Heat have taken a 3-0 lead in the best-of-7 series, beating the Bucks 104-91.
James for 3.
Veteran shooter Ray Allen top-scored with 23 points. He also set a new NBA career playoff record for three-pointers. 5 threes today gave him 322 for his career. That's 2 more than Reggie Miller. play of the day, and while the golfers probably weren't amused at the local wildlife, the commentators at the Zurich Classic of New Orleans were in fine form.
This poor fella hasn't got an arm, he hasn't got a leg.
Is that Stumpy?
That's Stumpy, I guess.
Or Tripod, they call him, I think.
Yeah,
is that the famous alligator
he's the
here?
famous one. Oh, look, he's right behind the... Oh, dun, dun, dun. It's like that James Bond movie, wasn't it?
That's a real hazard right there.
Later, Gator, that's a very scary play of the day. Obviously, the Dockers and Richmond in action tonight on the Friday night stage. One change each for the teams. Duffield out, Subban in and starting as a sub for Freo. And Richmond, one change, Nahas in for Jake King. Nerelda, that is all in sport.
Thanks very much, Caty. Have a good weekend. Michael Schultz has the weekend forecast next.